श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांत आचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि Shodasaayudha Stotram, Vedanta Desikan's most wonderful composition on Sudarshana Alvan, Shodasaayudha Stotram and Sri Sudarshanashtakam. So we have completed so far 13 slokas of Shodasaayudha Stotram. Today is the 14th verse. Ayudhanam aham vajram ityagiyata yassavaha avyat hetisha vajrosau adadishyasti sambhavaha. Ayudhanam aham vajram. Among all the weapons, I am the Vajrayudham, says Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And like that, the weapon that was announced by Kannan, declared by Kannan in Bhagavad Gita, that most wonderful Ayudham, Vajrayudham, is one of the weapons of the chief of Ayudhams, Chakratalvan. And may it protect you. May that Vajrayudham protect you, says Swami Desikan. And he also adds that it is adadishyasti sambhavaha. Adadichi asti sambhavaha. Dadichi is a rishi. And the Vajrayudham of Devendra, the Vajrayudham is thunderbolt. And that is the weapon which Devendra has. This Vajrayudham was created from the backbone of Rishi Dadichi. Indra could kill the Asuran, Vriddasuran, son of Diti, with this strong Vajrayudham, the thunderbolt. And here Swami Desikan mentions that adadichi asti sambhavaha. Adadichi asti sambhavaha means this Vajrayudham of Sudarshana Alvan is not the one which has been made out of Dadichi Munivar, Dadichi Rishi. This is not the one. And that is what he emphasizes. The divine power of Sri Sudarshana's Vajrayudham was transformed into the Indran's Vajrayudham, and because of that transformation, Indran could kill the Asuran and his Vajrayudham became famous. But unlike that of Devendra's weapon, which is made from the Rishi Dadichi, this Lord's weapon Vajrayudham was not created from the backbone of Rishi. This is made of Suddha Sattvam. It is more popular, more strong, more famous. May this famed weapon protect you all, says Swami Desikan. In Gita, Bhagavad Gita, there are very many Ayudhams, but in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions specifically Vajram as a Vishesha Abhimana Patram. Ayudhanam aham Vajram. So from that we know that Vajrayudham has got a special place in Lord Krishna's Tiruvullam. Like when the Panchajanyam was talked about 2 slokas before, we mentioned that it is made of the Asura Panchajanan, right? And that Panchajanan also is like Vajrayudham, was made out of the Asuran's bone. But even there, Srivatsankachar mentions that it is not the one which Perumal has. There is a form of Perumal which has all the 4 shankams in all 4 hands. One of them could be Panchajanan's body's creation, maybe the bone from the Panchajanan's body, but not the Shankh which Sriman Narayana has at all the time. in as much as we see that Devendran's Vajrayudham is made of Dadichi, and that's not the one which Perumal has as Vajrayudham. Similarly, the Shankh which Perumal has in his hand is not made of Panchajanan Asuran. We should be crystal clear that Perumal would not keep like that. Even the Pavitram, the Darbai in Vamanavataram, Danam Vilakkiya Shukkiran Kannai Turumbal Kilariya Shakkarakkayane Acho Acho. So even that Pavitram becomes, the Darbai becomes Chakrayudham. So even in Krishnavataram up to Kamsavada Paryantam, the Shankam, the conch shell, becomes the flute, says the elders. So here the Vajrayudham is the chief of all Ayudhams, and it is the one which is endearing to Lord Krishna as declared in Bhagavad Gita, and it is being held by Sudarshanalvan as the Vajrayudham, which is not like what Devendran has made of Dadichi Rishi's backbone. Now, this Swami mentions, Vedanta Desika mentions in Stotra Bhashyam, in Stotra Ratna commentary, Alavanda Stotra Ratna commentary, where Vedanta Desikan has written, he mentions about Pindiyar Mandayendi Pirar Manai Tiridandunum, the Rudran. He committed a sin, Guru Patakam. His guru, his father, was Chaturmukha Brahma, and he plucked one of the heads of Chaturmukha Brahma. He had 5 heads and one was plucked by Rudra. So that papam, because the skull got stuck with his palm, with his hand, and hence only Perumal could save by taking a sweat out of the chest and fill that skull with that water. He got rid of his papam. So Tunda Venpirayan Tuyar Tirtavan, says Tripanalvar. So if we hold a bone of a jantu, an animal, a being, then it is not pure. If we hold a skull, it is not pure. If we have a elephant skin on our body, that's not pure. If we reside in a graveyard, in cemetery, that's not pure. And if we smear our body with full of burnt ashes, the burnt body's ashes, that's not pure. Or if we have a garland of skulls on our neck, it's completely not pure. These are all Brahmins should not do, should not even touch. That is why we don't even go to Shivalayam, because it is Mashanam. It is supposed to be everything, whatever we listed just now, are all being held by Rudra. And hence the Kapali, we don't go to his temple. If there is a Shiva's Vigraham in accordance with Shilpa Sastram as a Sri Vaishnava Sri, and we can perform Anjali at least. If it is in accordance that he behaves, he is shown like a Sri Vaishnava, and that is what says the Dharma Sastram. So definitely Emperuman does not have the Vajrayudham which is made out of the backbone of Dadichi. And similarly, Amrita Matanam. During the Amrita Matanam, the Amrita Kalasham, Dhanvantri came out, Maharishi, he came out. He is Emperuman Sriman Narayanan's Amshavataram, and he has Shankha Chakram Ayudham. And in one hand, he has Amrita Kalasham, the Dhanvantri. The other hand, he has the leech, the Attai, the Sushkarevati in Sanskrit. He has that. And there was an Asuran by name Antakan. And he was observing penance, praying to Chaturmukha Brahma, that he wanted a boon that nobody can kill him. And even if somebody hurts him, every drop of his blood would give rise to many Antakans like him. And it will be so many hundreds of Antakans would come and start fighting with the enemies. So it is very difficult for Devas and even Rudran to fight against this Antakan, because they began creating more and more Antakans by dropping his blood. So what Perumal did, when Shiva went and surrendered to Emperuman, asking Perumal to protect him from Antakan, Emperuman, in order to remove all the Antakans, he used Shushkarevati, the Attai, the leech. And then that leech simply sucked all the blood which was coming out of the Antakan's body. Thus, Shiva was saved, the Matsya Puranam mentions, and this is even accepted by all the Shaivites as well. So, when you mentioned that a skin, yes, bone out of a body, out of a being is not held by Perumal, how can he hold the being itself like the Attai as one of the Ayudam? The Mulu Jantu, can he have? There is a question, and our elders answer that Shushkarevati, the Jantu, Attai, the leech, he is the Adhisthana Devatai of the being. It is not actually the Prakrita Attai, the leech. It is a Nitya Suri like Ananta Garuda Vishwaksena. The Shushkarevati is one of the Nitya Suris. And hence, Dhanvantri in Pratishtarchana Prakaranam, in Sri Pancharatra Shastram, it is mentioned that Dhanvantri has this Nitya Suri as this leech. And also, one thing we need to bear in mind, Dhanvantri is not Sakshat Bhagavad Avataram. It is like Parashurama, Balarama, the Avesha Avataram. And hence, even if it is a being, even if it is a Prakrita Shushkarevati, it is okay to have. So that is another school of thought. So Vararohaha in the Sahasranamam, when there is Vararoha is talked about, Sri Parasara Bhattar explains this very clearly. So thus Dadichi Rishi's backbone is not this Vajrayudham which is being held by Emperuman and thereby Chakratalvan. Adiye Kavitarkika Simmaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Dhanyosmi.